Morning all. I thought today I'm going to do a quick video on coils. I've got quite a few now, and it's hard to pick a coil. And I've got a few, I've used them all. Different terrains, different areas, different circumstances. So I'm going to give you a little bit of a run through on how to pick a coil, why you're better off picking that coil, what coil not to pick if you're going to go out, you've got a new permission, you think, oh, I really want that coil, I'm going to take that to there. I'm going to go through what's best, not for any particular machine, although I do use Minelab, an FBS Minelab, but I'm going to talk you through what I've got. I've got 6 coils here. I carry 5 of them all the time. They're not heavy. It's my own preference. You don't have to carry all your coils. If you know you're going to a pasture, take a slightly larger coil maybe. If you're going to a trashy area, take a smaller coil. I always take all mine because I might jump from one field to another. I might go from, I'm in pasture now, I might go in those trees over there. There's some more trees down there. I've got a ploughed field just there. So I'll switch it about. But if you're going to go out for a day in a field that you know the content, you know it's not too trashy, not too much iron, then you can pick your coil before you go. So what we do, we'll go through what I've got, a quick chat on each one, and the pluses and the negative sides of each one, and hopefully it'll be of some use to someone. Right, all my coils are DD coils. You can it's 2 basic kinds of coil. It's like a polo or a solid head, and that's your concentric coil. And they're good on pulse machines. I've got a pulse machine at home. I'll put a quick clip of my pulse machine in the head. That will give you a search underneath each coil. Obviously you get the depth of the coil is different, but you get a shape of basically what it's gonna project down into the soil. On a DD coil, you get like a knife edge down the middle where these 2 Ds meet, hence a DD coil. So you get like a knife edge down the middle, and it's like a blade, and it sweeps. On a conical coil, or concentric coil I think they are, you get more of a cone, so you get a point at the bottom. So it runs down from the sides, but the deepest point of the search coil does come to a point. So you do have to overlap quite a lot with those, otherwise the point of your deepest search area is very small. Whereas on a DD coil, you get like a blade effect, so you get a good few inches, obviously depending on the size of the coil, you get like a sweep. So you don't have to overlap as much with a DD coil. I would say 50% overlap maybe, depending on the terrain. But I'm going to stick to talking with the DD coils. I've got the big 18-inch penetrator by D-Tech. Some people will think, oh, the bigger the better. If I've got a big coil, I'm going to find more. Not always true. You do cover more area with a big coil, that's obvious. If I'm sweeping that across a field, and I've either got like a standard coil on or even the small coils, yes, you're going to cover more surface area with a bigger coil. I always wanted the 18-inch coil. They are heavy, as is the Coiltech. They're both heavy. My machine is already a heavy machine. The newer machines are lighter, but even those couple of extra grams going from a 13 to a 15 or an 18, you notice it. You do notice it. It's a good coil. Personally, I don't think it's any better than the 15, so I probably won't be keeping this one in the future. I just wanted to buy it, try it. It wasn't new, so I don't mind. Next up we've got the slightly smaller 15. Now the 15 I think is a brilliant coil. Again, it's heavy. It's heavy. If your fields or pastures aren't too trashy, they're great. Some people say that the 18 bigger than a 15, you're going to start suffering with mineralisation problems with the coils in the machine, because obviously it's got a lot to deal with in that 18-inch, which is true. If you've got it goes the same with trash. If you've got a nail and a coin, they can be quite spread apart, and you're going to get them with this. You're going to get both of them in one sweep. So it'll either null it out, and if the recovery is not brilliant, you're going to miss it. It goes the same for the 15, but I've used this on pasture where I am now. I've used it in fields, and it is a brilliant coil. If you can get that coil for other machines, I would recommend that one if you're going to go for a big coil. All detectors come with a coil. This is my standard coil. Obviously they do a lot of research into the better sizes, and they're all generally this sort of size. This is another DD coil. It was very good. I found a lot with that, but I wanted more surface area coverage for my sweep, so I bought the 13, which is obviously slightly smaller than the 15. Brilliant coils. If you're going to upgrade from a standard, I would go for a 13. You can get different shapes. That's the Ultimate by D-Tech. It's lightweight. You get more ground coverage. The pinpointing is good. Again, the pinpointing can suffer on some of the big ones. Don't really have a problem with that one, but you will learn them. Take it away, practice before you go out. Again, the 13, that's a good all-round one. I use that everywhere. The beach, I use it on pasture, I use it in a field. It is an awesome coil. It's one I've always got on the machine, and then I will chop and change depending on my location. Right, we'll move down to the smaller coils. This is my newest one. I have always had a tiny one. I've always used this one for rock pools, because I live near the beach. I'm very lucky I can do beach and land. Not everyone can, but this is brilliant for rock pools. I found hammer coin with this. Some people like to use the smaller coils in stubble. So if you've got stubbly fields, I've had stubbly fields, I've used it in stubble. Actually turned out this was better in stubble because of all these spider legs. It was gliding across the stubble rather than getting stuck in it. I mean, that one got stuck in it. It's too light as well, got jammed up, didn't like it. Obviously this one is very good. It can get in between the stubble, but you've got to go a lot slower. You don't cover as much ground. But I found hammer coins with that. I found hammer coins with that. I found hammer coins with that in stubble. So it depends on how you set the machine. Get used to your machine, and obviously it all comes with time. This is my newest one, which is slightly bigger than the, I think that's a 5x7, and I think that's a 5.5x9. Very, very good actually. You don't get as much depth on obviously the smaller ones as you do on the bigger ones. I was using this in woodland. There's some woodland behind me, only a small patch, and I was trying it in there. Brilliant. So if you've got woodland, if you've got undergrowth and trees, I would get a sharpshooter coil. This is called the Sharpshooter by Nell. Stunning, yeah, brilliant. And again, you don't get the depth. You don't get the depth that you would normally get with a bigger coil, even a 13. But the bonus is these smaller ones has, obviously, it can get in between roots, undergrowth, places where you just cannot get a big coil. If you track back to my last video, I've used that one and it was great. These smaller ones are brilliant if you've got multiple targets. Bear in mind they don't have to be good targets. You could have iron, just general trash. You could have two targets together. They seem far apart, but they're not in the course of a swing. And obviously you're going to get that singular, and there's going to be no overlap. You'll hear two targets there. If one's iron, it will discriminate one and catch the other. If you've got a bigger coil, you're going to hit them both, and you may risk losing one or the other, depending on what the targets are. If one's a nail and one's a coin, it could discriminate out one and you'll miss one. So definitely worth thinking about. If you've got trashy sights, I would suggest going down a size, and obviously going very slow as well in trashy areas. Other than that, I think covering all the different coils, obviously beach detecting is different. I am a beach detectorist. That's good on beaches. You get lovely depth, as is that. That was very good. They're both quite equally matched. But beaches can be very trashy places. I find the 13 on beaches is awesome, as is the standard. If I know I'm going to a beach that's not too trashy, then yeah, by all means, take a big coil, invest in a big coil. They are good. And rock pooling, I like rock pooling. Small coils. Other than that, yeah, there are more coils on the market. There's bigger ones, there's longer ones. These are the kind of general ones you're going to get. They're all DD coils. Hopefully, if anyone's deciding on to buy a coil, you've taken maybe something out of this. Could be useful to you. It's just through experience, I've got all of them now. I probably won't buy any more coils, I don't need to. Depends where you hunt. So, without any more talking, I'm going to take that coil there and that coil there, and we're going to go out in that freshly ploughed field.